do it.
What? 3-2, bases loaded down.
We're back, baby.
5 weeks in a row. 5 weeks in a row.
I know the weather, weather's been crazy. I mean, unreal.
This week has been better.
This week has been better. Last week was awful.
Oh.
I mean, I'm still kind of wearing my hoodie,
Dude, I had to be there at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, dude, for this tournament. But whatever.
Oh.
Let's not even talk about it. But anyhow, before we start, I want to send a shout out to my favorite baseball player because it is his birthday today.
What?
Happy birthday to my son, Samuel. He turns 12 years old today.
Happy birthday, Samuel.
Yeah.
We love you, buddy.
Happy birthday. Sorry, that's going to be.
Last time we tried to do that, it did not work out well. So,
sorry, guys.
Man, baseball's in full gear. We're back.
We are back. Baseball's going on. I mean, so far, no crazy, no drama. This past weekend, I think everything's went good. Some teams won, some teams didn't.
Yeah.
Expectations are very high.
Everybody had to play last week because we got to get ready for the Super NIT. Everybody got to go to Houston. When the Houston became the place to be in March.
That's where everybody wants to go now. This Hurricane Harvey tournament, there's another big one, which the credit card bill this month is going to be pretty high.
Dude, I ain't going.
Hey, listen, guys, let's just talk about this. I mean, this is probably going to be the first year that I will not be attending a Houston tournament. I'm gonna this spring, I'm gonna fly under the radar. I'm gonna focus on some internal things, gonna make sure that the program is running smooth and continue to build up. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you are local, you're gonna pay. I mean, you gotta look up at least $1,500 or more just to go to Houston and play.
And not only that, like, let me just go and say it. If you don't have a really good team, don't go. Like,
save your money, man.
Like, seriously, just play. If you're 12 majors, play 13 AAA here local. Or, like, honestly, like, look, I seen the roster of the SBA Bolts 12U team. There's a kid who's 5'10", 170 pounds.
I mean,
12 years old, throwing 80 miles an hour, dude. Like,
no chance.
Look, like, dude, if you don't have that type of player, like,
but I get it. Everybody wants to see what's out there.
I get it.
Just know that the credit card bill is gonna come back pretty high this month.
And not only that, like, that's what. Usually after that tournament, that's when that heat boiling from parents starts.
Oh, that's something that we're talking about today. What's the title for today? What is it?
Toxic parents.
Oh.
And let me just look because
deep,
because I'll be considered a hypocrite if I don't say this. About a year ago, I had an incident with Samuel's coach. I did. I went off on him. I was helping him coach. I went off on him in the middle of the game. I did. The repercussions were that as a team they decided not to have us back for the remainder of the year. Completely understandable. Why am I saying this here? Because I know what happens. I did indeed went on Facebook and went out and put a big apology. A big apology.
Apology. I thought you went nuts on the coach.
No,
on
I
Facebook.
did not. I did it. And
like some people do.
The coach and I remain friends. But I know. And I seen from both sides of the story. But the reason why I felt like I needed to say this because my story's out there. And I feel like if we start talking about this, somebody can say, well, he did this. And I want to go back and I want to say that I did happen. I had an issue with a coach. I did go off. It was in public. I did apologize, but it's not a good thing. I say, as a parent, you never want to go off on a coach. It's something that that brought a lot of not shame. I didn't. I'm not saying that I was right or wrong. I just could have handled it better.
You feel better, buddy?
Actually, yeah.
Can we play some like sad music right now? Nah, hey, but hey, listen to this. What do you think about this?
Man, I just let my heart pour out.
We love you, buddy. We love you. But going back to toxic.
Okay, going back to
All
toxic
right.
now.
But don't you know that man, there was parents that reach out before the spring season started, and they wanted to know if
their kid's gonna hit 3.
Not that, if they were gonna go to the Houston tournament, because if the team was not gonna go to the Houston tournament, they decided to just go with somebody else.
I don't understand. Like,
how crazy is this? Is it such a big deal to go there?
On Facebook. I seen it on Facebook, like that they based their decision on where the team is going to go to the World Series.
That's exactly. I mean, you got to show them. You have to show them the list of tournament where you're playing for them to say yes.
Can you think? I can only imagine the parent checklist. Oh, vacation, check. It's a cheat, check. And then the last one is coach development. Oh, yeah, the very last one is the one that we actually should indeed care about, but let's not talk about that.
And I get it, guys. I mean, it feels good. It's a good environment. You want to get out of the area. You want to go play some ball somewhere else. Hey, if you have the money, go ahead. Go ahead and spend it. If you got money to spend, and even though the team's not very good, but you want to go out there, get your butt kicked. I mean, get some games in. Do that.
Dude, come on.
And I did it. I felt like I had an okay team. We went every year. Some years we went. We passed that first game on Sunday, and some years we didn't. And we thought that we were pretty good around here. So we're like, okay, let's go out there. But man, when you go out there, man, you're facing the best of the best. You got teams flying from California. Mm-hmm. I mean, which, by the way, they must have money. I mean, just plane tickets, hotel, food. Man, they probably spending $35,000, maybe $4,000 just to come here for 3 days.
Dude, we go to Houston and we got to order Michis for all 3 days.
Man, Mickey D's, man, McDonald's. Pizza every night, room service.
By the way, for those who going, Michis, Chinese, Puerto Rican food, man. You need to try it, man.
Y'all got to go there. If you don't go there, it was a waste of time.
Come on, man. Like, best Chinese food around, man.
But going back to this, and I know that we'll have a session for coaches too, because not every coach out there is perfect. There's some that are pretty crazy and are making us look bad.
But it goes back to what we have said over the last few weeks. It's the transparency and the communication that you have early in the years and set the boundaries off the bat. There's gonna implement. Look, whenever, and I hate to talk about this, but teams that had 13, 14 players younger age. So are you going to bat 13 on Saturday?
Man, do that.
If that's your plan, and you come from the beginning and say, hey, we're planning on having 13 players, and the parent decide to stay after they say that, that's the parent's fault. But if you have different expectations and then you come and add a 13 player or a 14 player and everybody's batting on Saturday, like, come on, man. Like, dude, like, what are we doing here? And
the kids take one at bat each game and be done.
I mean,
last week we talked about reps. The kid need reps. They got to play. They got to hit. So you got to be in a place that they're going to give you a good amount of reps. If you're not getting the reps, you're just wasting your time this spring. Yes, you might be in a really good team, but you don't get to play. Your kid gets to watch the game. Yeah, he's learning by watching.
Do you know that there's
playing.
a team here in the Metroplex?
No.
They has 16 players on the roster, and they have like 3 or 4 POs at 12.
Wow. Who are they? Don't say it. Don't say it. We don't want to throw nobody under the bus.
Man, it don't matter. By the time that they know, they're going to know whoever it is. I mean, come on.
We're going to tag you on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, be looking out.
But it's crazy how people will want to be in such a winning. And then don't get me wrong, the team's good. I'm not saying they're not. But what's the purpose of the kid just being a PO at 12? Like, seriously, you made that decision at 12?
We're going in the right direction, guys.
Man.
Keep it up, everybody.
They need to tune in and watch last week's episodes.
But at the end of the day, going back to this, parents, it has happened every weekend. I mean, it starts probably about March, April,
Yeah.
when
After
around
this-
April.
after this weekend.
That's when parents all of a sudden drama start coming out. The text to the coach is coming. We don't want to sit close to that mom over there because she's always talking about her kid and how good her kid is doing. So I'm gonna go sit in the other side of the field. Man, I have parents that sit literally on center field, way out there because they don't want to listen to parents. They don't want to listen to drama. They don't want to listen to
Oh,
nobody.
they don't want to pay the gate fee.
I seen that too. You got guys that show up, they're watching the game from just because they don't want to pay $5. But hey, at the end of the day, man,
It is $5.
they may have 6 kids.
Dude.
Which that has happened, man. Man, how you gonna make these kids pay a gate fee,
I
brother?
always dress like a coach. So every time I go in there, even if I'm not coaching,
Just
I always
carry
say,
a
"Coach,
bucket."
Coach. Oh yeah, we'll give you that wristband right in. Like,
Hey, what about this happened? You may not think, but I could testify this because I had only 2 coaches on the on my team. So when I'll go, of course I say I have a coach, I come in for free. So on my way out, one of the coaches, he's like, "Hey, I couldn't get in," and he's my assistant coach, and he could not get in because 2 dads signed up as coaches,
Wow.
so they didn't get to pay.
wow.
And I'm like, and I look at the list of names, and I'm like, man, you gotta be kidding me! Like, why would they do that just so they don't pay the $5 gate fee? But yes, that has happened. I hope that has not happened to any other coaches out there. But to any dads, if you're doing that, please stop. You're gonna get caught. Eventually.
Going back to the Super NIT, like I really I get it. Like you wanna. But honestly, let me ask you a question, and I'm gonna ask you as a coach. Can you really tell where your team is at? Maybe the first, second week of the season. Like, can you tell where you at based on that?
You can't. I'm actually having a meeting with my parents because so many, they come in with different expectations. They think that from the get-go the team is just gonna explode and destroy everybody, and that did not happen with my 11U team. When we first started this fall, it was rough.
Oh.
And the parents can testify to this.
Oh.
I mean, we did not, for 2 months, we were getting run over.
Preach.
Run over. I mean, it was 16-0.
Preach.
It was bad. And I thought at some point, I'm like, man, these parents are just going to leave. This is just going to. And then all of a sudden comes October. Ha-ha. And the kids, he comes on a Sunday. We win the first game on Sunday. And everybody's like, yeah, what just happened? Second game of Sunday, we won. What? What is going on?
And I know because you left me alone. I was like, hey, you're in your way, man. We just won, man. I don't know how we won.
I don't know what happened to these kids, but they decided to show up and play today. And they made it for literally 2 weekends in a row in October.
Remember that, yeah.
They made it all the way to the finals.
And I got to tell you, man, I saw them a few weeks back, man. They look pretty good, man.
I'm excited for them. And the parents, that's probably the biggest thing is that parents are excited because they are seeing the improvement.
Yeah.
We went from not being able to score a run in a whole game to competing against a AAA and a majors team. So, which is, we've been scrimmaging. We scrimmage a majors team, even though we're a AA team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, y'all gonna see that. Y'all got to get ready for that. That's where we want to go.
And I saw it. They were putting the ball in play. They were making plays.
Those the booger eaters, man. I love them kids.
Yeah, man. Man.
But it happens. But has that ever happened to you? Going back to this toxic cycle that is going on of a coach getting a long text message from a dad on the first weekend because their kid was not at the very top of the lineup. He didn't get to play the positions that the dad wanted him to play because they pay such amount of money in lessons pitching lessons and catching lessons for them to go to the game and get to be a right fielder. So now I'm paying all this money to this pitching guy, and you don't even make my kid pitch.
But it goes back to, as an organization, look. As an organization, you got to do your due diligence about who you're bringing in as a coach. And once again, we've been saying this all along. There's not a philosophy in place. There's not a culture in place per organization. So you can't expect much. I mean, it's just this is where
unrealistic,
we are. Like
unrealistic expectations
of some of these parents of like, look, like just like your kid, there's 11 other players. They're in the same boat that wishes that they could play shortstop, that they could be the best player on the team. But unfortunately, one player can play shortstop.
Yep.
One player can play center field. One player can be on the mound all the time. Like, I would say to parents that are around coaches that are experienced, let them coach. Let them coach.
Let them do it.
They're not doing this on purpose. They're like, hey, my son's bat 10. If your son's batting 10 on a really good team, there's a reason for it. Like, look, like that's where he belongs. And either he continues to develop and eventually work his way up, or he's just going to stay there and somebody's going to pass him by.
Yep.
But you got to let the people coach. You got to get them an opportunity because it's just doesn't feel right that you got parents that, because look, like for me, like I've coached at different levels and I feel that I got a lot of knowledge and like so you questioning me like, let me go to your job and question you. Like I don't go to your job and tell you like, hey man, I think you should do this better because this is no, dude. Like, like hey.
And this is not like us just griping at parents. I just think that from a coach perspective, and we are going to eventually. I think we should bring a dad or a coach to talk about these things because
let's bring Tracy Henderson in here.
All right, nothing.
She'll keep it real.
She's great at that.
Real.
She's great. But at the end of the day, I've been in situations where, I hit 10 guys and 2 are subs. The moment that parent finds out that his kid is a sub, I mean, you could see it. You could see, I mean,
it brings the whole energy down.
The energy's down. All of a sudden, they start walking around with other parents, and they want to talk.
Did you see who's hitting? Did you see who? He batted him again at the top of the lineup.
And I was like, guys, listen, parents. One of the biggest reasons sometimes when a team does not perform as they should is because all the drama and negativity that is going around outside of that fence, outside of that dugout. And if you don't think that players see it, you are wrong. Stop embarrassing your kid in front of everybody and stop going out to other parents and talk to them about other kids. And that, you know what? That's one of my favorite, my number one rules. If a parent comes up to me talking about another player that is not theirs, the conversation is over. We are here to talk about your player, but when they start throwing names out there, well, this kid, and I'm like, well, the conversation is over because we're not longer talking about your kid. We're talking about other people's kids, and to talk about other people's kids, those parents got to be here.
Yeah. And look, like,
can I get an amen up in here?
Amen.
Hallelujah to Jesus.
But, one thing that I will say is this, that, man, how can it be individualized to certain things, but then other things don't? And look, man, it's just, this is crazy, man. That where it's gotten to this point and now that, parents just want to live out to their kids. They want to live their dreams to their kids. And like, look, I love my son, and I hope, I never, and I'll say this plenty of times, I've never forced him to want to play. We want to try other sports. He's more than welcome we can. But I'm going to tell him, I was like, if you want to be good, you got to put in the work.
Yep.
You got to put in the work. And that's the thing that I tell everybody. But man, it's just crazy the world we live in this that we can sit here and talk about so many of these subjects and people are like, man, is it that bad? Yeah, it really is.
Man, the biggest thing when people reach out on the comments, on they reach out after hearing the podcast is like, man, you guys talk about the real stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to know. I mean, we can just sit here and act like everything is fine. Guys, youth baseball is not where it needs to be right now. I feel like, we're just oblivious of what's happening. We just think that, let's just spend all this money and go with it. Like, at the end of the day, as a parent, you have to find yourself in an environment where your kid, first of all, your kid's having fun. Your kid likes the place. He's learning. He's getting better. So if you're getting those things, stop jumping around from place to place. Just show them how to be a stable person. If you as a parent, you like to jump from this team to another team, and you've been in 5 different teams in 5 years, man, you got to stop. No, I mean, clearly, if you keep jumping around, I mean, just don't let them play. You be the coach. If you're going to continue to jump around like that, then you handle the program. You do this, you do that. But just show them to stick around with the process. Stick with the process. Hey, they're not biting you where you want to be. Well, give them a reason to not put you where you at right now. Give them a reason. Prove them wrong. Those need to be the conversation.
You have to. And look, I'm gonna take the critic off of it, and I'm gonna become a coach right now. If you're not hitting every day right now during the season,
you're behind.
Like, you got to hit every day. Let me go once in a while to hit. No, it's baseball season. So baseball season, you got to hit every day.
Yep.
Every day, 3 to 4 times. You got to go out. You got to throw. There's stuff that you can do on a regular basis in order to get better. And look, if that's not enough, then guess what? Then you did everything you could, and you can feel grateful that, hey, you're working hard. But I promise that work will pay it off. But if working hard doesn't mean, I take them to the cages once a week and I'm supposed to hit 300. And I go to the cages one day a week. I take lessons one day a week. So 3 times a week I practice. So therefore, that's not. It's you gotta be committed to get better. Yeah. You cannot be committed to like, I'm batting because I want to be in the top of the lineup. No, you're working out because you want to get better and every day. Like, look, I heard
from a hitting coach out of Vegas.
I heard this the other day. Amateurs will do it, and Chipper Jones said it, and I heard it in the past. Chipper Jones said amateur players will do it until they get it right. Professional players, they will do it until they can't get it wrong.
That's good.
And that's what, look, you can't be satisfied. No. When you're in the cage, last week, it was the first time that I seen Samuel do it, in which he literally finished. Like, he was the one, like, I'm done. Like, for him to be able to tell me that, like, I'm done. Like, I'm locked in. That tells you you're doing a good job.
Yep.
The player has to, like, hey, I feel good. I feel like, and sometimes we force it on our kids to be so perfect, and sometimes we force it on them that it makes them robotic. It makes them fear of failure. And that's the biggest thing, the conception, like, when it comes to hitting, like, dude, you can't be afraid of striking out. That's the biggest fear, like striking out. Like, dude, you're going to strike out. You're going to strike out. You're going to fail more than you're going to succeed in this game. But the one thing that you got to continue to do is, whether you go 4 for 4 or 0 for 4, tomorrow the work has to continue. Because it doesn't matter. Like, what are we teaching this kid? It goes beyond baseball. It's like, you got to have work ethic.
You do.
Because at one day you're gonna be a dad, you're gonna be a
Exactly.
husband,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to teach work ethics, and those
It's
are
beyond.
the traits that you want your kids to learn. If you're in it for your kids to make it to the big leagues, like, be real. If you need to go back and watch last week episodes
Yeah.
so you can understand a little bit better what we're trying to say.
We are really behind on what's happening. These
I am,
days in
I'm telling you right now, the fact that I heard that he said 12-year-olds are facing 21-year-olds at this point, man, I almost want to run out and go grab a pro guy and like, Samuel, hop in there,
Go ahead.
So anyhow, parents, this going March right now. We're into March right now. We're you guys are going to Super NIT. Some of you guys are starting the season. Remember what we said last week. It's about the kids. It's about having fun. It's about creating memories. They're only that age one time in their life.
Yep.
And you want to create memories and you want to have fun and enjoy it. Because at the end of the day, like, memories is all you get.
That's it. Man, and I feel like, if you're the dad or the mom that after a game, the ride home is brutal for your kid, I mean, just know that you were just tearing that kid down. You have no idea how many ride homes for kids is just devastating. They are listening left and right, everything they did wrong, how this kid is going to pass him by, how this other guy, like, they're not listening to anything positive on the ride home after the game. And not even before the game. Before the game, we are, as parents, if you are putting pressure on the kid on the ride home to the game, what do you expect for him to do when he gets to the game?
Well,
If you're telling him, you better not do this, well, remember what they taught you this. Don't you dare do this. It's just pressure. The ride to the game should be a ride home where, man, they're just listening to pumped up music. Man, you're speaking life over them. You are, hey, this is going to be your best game ever. Nipple power. That's what I tell my kids. Hey, just positive energy. And guess what? After the game, don't change it. If he had a great game, celebrate it. If he did not have a really good game, do not lose your mind. Talk to him about, hey, how do you feel about the game? What, you feel like you could have done this better? Kids know when they do things wrong. There's not a kid out there that is gonna let a ball go between his legs on purpose. They are not gonna do that. They're
or
like,
strike out.
This next ground ball, I'm just gonna let it go between my legs.
Yeah.
I mean, are you serious, guys? I mean, they're not trying to fail on purpose.
Why do you strike out? Because I didn't hit the ball.
Hey, when they get older, it actually gets fun because
Before
the kids start talking back to the parents.
and before we wrapped up, we want to say, do you know we have a new segment now?
Oh, really?
We do. We have a official reporter. Yes.
What?
Yes. Well, let's go live right now with 1 Minute with Sam Girl.
Hello, this is Sammy Cougar here, and it's opening day. Today is a beautiful day at Midlothian Park. Today we're going to interview some players. Bye! And now we have...
Britt Carter, Joe Raleigh,
Which team do you play for?
NTX Elite. NTX Elite.
How do you feel at the field today?
I think I did decent. I got a couple RBIs. I think I did good. I got a hit, and I did some good base running. Samuel Burgos, Isaiah Gonzalez.
What's your favorite subject at school?
For me, it's world cultures. For me, it's math.
Thank you, Savannah. And with that being said,
She's the best. We're going to be famous because of her.
with that being said, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And we're gonna continue to have all these conversations, interviews, and I hope you like some of our stuff. And if you got comments, questions, topics that you want us to talk about, please put them down. So with that being said, you got anything to say?
We love you guys. Don't be a toxic parent. be a cheerleader this tournament this weekend.
3-2, bases loaded, dog.